All right, we are going to get into this. I think I finally figured this out. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Jason again with Levelhead Trading. So happy. Got myself a little new laptop so I could start doing this. Going to talk about Bitcoin solely on this video. Going to talk about what just happened right after the stock market closed. I didn't pay attention to any news. Very interesting. But this is on the hourly chart. So we had this candle occur at 1 p.m., between 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We spiked up to 47,901 and pushed all the way down to 44,701. Approaching the 200 period moving average, which I start to incorporate now on all different time frames where I can see it gives me a guide as to where things are at. So I pick a time frame where it's relevant, and as you can see on the hourly time frame, it's reacting right off of this 200-hour moving average. So on this most recent one, we got close to it, but we didn't go below it. And the other important thing in the short time frame is we are holding this low back here, which happened on Sunday. So that low was 43,200. And at the moment, we might have a potential higher low at 44,701. So the hourly has definitely cooled itself off because of that one particular candle. We were up at 81 on the hourly. So that's always going to be due for consolidation on whatever time frame you're looking at. So we cooled off and we dropped down very quickly to 37.69 on the hourly chart. So it's very interesting, and we'll see what happens from here. So now I'm going to go into the bigger time frame, the more important ones, the daily and the weekly chart. So I'll go into the daily chart here, and let me just make sure we are on the daily chart. Yes. So here we are on the daily chart, and that smooths things out as far as getting a better picture of what's going on. We're nearing the end of the day candle, this last one right here. So the low of that particular one that happened at 1 o'clock, that pushed us at that moment, that pushed us right at the upper edge of this breakout area that we pushed over on the previous day on Monday. So we're holding strong. We're still holding strong. That cooled off the hourly RSI, and it brought down the daily RSI to 61.56. And in between that time, we reached 47,901. In my previous video, I talked about the retracement, in my opinion, going from the highs, the all-time highs of 69,000, dropping down to 15,460. And then I just did some math, said, okay, if we retrace 61.8%, then we're going to get up to about 48,000 something. And so we basically have already done that. And we haven't given it back. We spiked up and then we spiked down, and maybe it's a reload to get more people interested. So in the short term, things are still looking very, very strong on Bitcoin. The average RSI, which I also like to incorporate, is at a 56 on the daily. So this average line came down substantially because that average line back here was up to almost 70. So we cooled that off and we brought the average down to 56, 57. So everything on the daily chart is looking really, really strong. Now going to the weekly chart, this is where I say you really got to be cautious because we are pushing higher. Sorry, I got to keep adding my webcam back on there when I switch screens for some reason. So on the Weekly chart, this is how it is. We are at 77, and the average is at 72 on the RSI, 72.5. So that's quite high, quite high. And the only consolidation we really did was back in the period of those days where I was talking about the triangle that was forming. And you can see it very clearly on the weekly chart right here. So here's the push higher, weekly inside bar, a very small weekly inside bar that fit into all of that. And then we pushed down, tried to get out of this triangle to the downside, dropped to 40,625. But then by the time the week finished, which was the week of January 1st to the 8th approximately, we went down to 40,625. But then by the time the week finished, we closed at 43,950. So currently we're at 46,000 on the weekly chart. And where we are at right now goes all the way to this period back in March 2022. And the top of this candle, this is really well, no, I shouldn't say this is the last area of resistance to get over, but the top of that candle right there is 48,240. So we just today reached 47,901. So very close to breaking that price level of 48,240. After that, if we clear that, then the next area of resistance really is right in that range of 45 up to 50, about 52, 51,878. That is the next level to try to break through. But during this period, we were coming down from the all-time highs. There's another thing I look at. We are at price levels comparing it to another point. But when I'm going back and looking at this previous point, the RSI was much, much lower. So at this point, the more recent one, where we reached 48,240, that was on the way down, and the RSI on the weekly was 52, and the average was 43.91. So we are at 77 on the real RSI, and the average RSI is 72.5. So that's why I think you got to be really, really cautious right at this level. Yes, we could push up to, maybe we can get into 50,000 just because it's just pure, FOMO, the last people getting in. But I highly doubt that there are too many professional traders that are buying at this price, unless you use a very close stop loss. Then that's okay. You could use the low of today of no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you could. I mean, it depends on what time frame you're trading. So you could use that hourly candle, which happened right here, and say, okay, I'm going to buy right here, and I'm going to use my stop at the low of this candle. See if this is the new hourly higher low, and potentially the new daily higher low. But in order to create that space as a higher low on the daily, then we would need to break above 47,901 starting tomorrow. Well, it's actually going to start in about 20 minutes in my time. It's the new day will start in about 20 minutes. So anyway, that's my update on Bitcoin. And I am going to now start making some videos on some stocks and the stock market in general, and some things that I've been trading. So I hope you like it. If you do and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Click the likes if you want to make any comments. But one point I'll make is I don't trade anything other than average typical stocks in the stock market, and I trade Bitcoin. I have traded some other altcoins, did trade Ethereum and was trading. I have a little position in Litecoin, But relative to Bitcoin, they're all underperforming. They are performing nowhere near as well as Bitcoin. So, in my opinion, it's not beneficial to try to trade those since this is the strongest one. I'm sure there's a few out there that are doing maybe better and have had better gains, but on the most common ones that I know of that I have looked at, Bitcoin is still the strongest one. And so we'll see. Anyway, if you like it, subscribe. If you haven't already been a subscriber, I know I've been away for a couple of years, but I'm back and have a lot more knowledge and hope you can learn something from it. So, talk to you soon. And check out my videos on stock market and some of the stocks that I trade. I'll try to do that video later on today.